Amina's life was a series of near misses and almost. From the moment she could remember, it seemed as though the world had conspired against her. She was born in the small village of Nkamba, where the sun baked the earth into cracked clay and the air hummed with the buzz of cicadas. Her mother, Fatima, was a kind but weary woman who worked tirelessly to provide for her only child. Her father had died when she was just a baby, leaving Fatima to raise her alone. As a child, Amina was bright and curious, her eyes always scanning the horizon for something more. She loved school, though it was a luxury her mother could barely afford. Amina would sit at the front of the classroom, gripping a stub of pencil and scribbling into a tattered notebook. She dreamed of becoming a teacher, just like Mr. Abubakar, who encouraged her to aim high. But no matter how hard she tried, Amina always seemed to fall short. Her primary school exam papers were mysteriously lost. She retook the exams and failed again. The third time, she passed, but just barely. The villagers whispered with scorn, "That girl, she'll never amount to anything." Fatima never gave up. "You are destined for greatness," she would say with fierce conviction. But life continued to deny Amina opportunity. Rejected university applications, failed job searches, and endless humiliation followed. Her childhood friends flourished. Ngozi returned from abroad with a foreign husband and thriving business. Adana, who once struggled in school, now ran a boutique in the city. Even Bola, who had dropped out, married well and traveled the world. Amina watched silently as wedding invitations arrived, babies were born, and success passed her by. She clapped at celebrations, held babies with aching arms, and walked home to her tiny hut, her heart sinking deeper into despair. Her only escape was her writing. She crafted stories of hope, resilience, and triumph, pouring her soul into each line. But the world didn't care. Publishers rejected her. The villagers mocked her attempts to sell handwritten stories in the market. Who would buy such nonsense, they sneered. By 35, Amina was exhausted. Her dreams had withered. One night, suffocated by her failures, she climbed to the cliff overlooking the village, ready to end it all. The wind howled around her, echoing the cruel words that had haunted her for years. Useless. Failure. Cursed. She stepped closer to the edge, eyes closed. Amina. Don't. Ngozi's voice shattered the silence. Her friend came running, city shoes skidding on gravel. "I knew something was wrong," she said, breathless. "I came home to visit my parents, but God wouldn't let me rest until I found you." Amina collapsed into her friend's arms, not realizing this was God's answer to Fatima's ceaseless prayers. Nor did she know that divine intervention had already prepared a man of God with spiritual sight to break her chains. The next day, at the village crusade, they joined a crowd gathered to hear the powerful visiting pastor. Amina stood at the back, arms crossed, her heart heavy with doubt. But mid-sermon, the pastor paused. He turned and pointed directly at her. "You," he called. "Come forward." She hesitated, but Ngozi urged her on. Amina stepped through the crowd, heart pounding. "There is a curse upon you," the pastor declared. "Cast at your birth by someone close. Your aunt, jealous of your mother, wiped your body with a charm towel and hung it in her shrine, stealing your blessings. That is why you have struggled." Gasps echoed. Amina turned to see Fatima's shocked expression. The pastor continued with a fiery prayer. His voice thundered with the power of scripture, "For I know the plans I have for you." As he prayed, Amina felt a physical weight lift from her shoulders. It was as if God was pulling her out of darkness and breaking her chains. Later, she and her mother confronted her aunt, Zainab. Weakened by the prayers, Zainab confessed, showing them the towel that had remained inexplicably damp for 35 years. The moment she confessed, her mind broke, she ran mad, undone by guilt and the power of the truth. With the curse broken, Amina's life transformed. She met Larry, a kind young contractor building the village hospital. Moved by her strength and resilience, he fell in love with her. They married, and Larry took Amina and Fatima to the city. There, a new life awaited, one without shadows. Her writing, once ridiculed, gained recognition. A major publishing house picked up her memoirs. She established a school for village girls and a small medical clinic. The same villagers who had mocked her now brought their children to learn and to heal. Even the classmates who once laughed behind her back now sought her guidance. Ngozi, visiting one afternoon, sat with Amina as she led a Bible study for young women. "Remember that night on the cliff?" she asked quietly. "I thought it was the end," Amina said, eyes glistening. "But God," Ngozi replied, "was just setting the stage for my purpose," Amina finished. They recited together, "All things work together for good to those who love God." Amina's story teaches timeless truths. No curse is stronger than Christ's blood. What the enemy means for harm, God redeems. Divine connections are never accidental. Ngozi's obedience became Amina's rescue. And your valley, no matter how deep, may be the platform for your purpose. Every rejection became the foundation of her ministry. Now, when Amina speaks to broken women, she shows them the framed first rejection letter of her book, displayed proudly beside the award it later won. The same struggle Satan tried to use to bury you, she tells them, is what God will use to bless multitudes. For every unseen flame flickering in darkness, Amina's life is a reminder, the night is darkest just before the dawn breaks. They meant it for evil, but God meant it for good.